Hey guys, Natty here, and I just want to say thank you so much for your feedback on my previous college videos regarding the University of Michigan and college in general. It's just nice to know that my videos are actually helping some people, so thank you. Something that has been recurring in the comments of these videos is a person will list a bunch of qualities about themselves and say, what are my chances of getting in? And so I'm clearly just a freshman at the University of Michigan, and I still sometimes wonder how I even got into the University of Michigan. Just because I feel like, I don't know, it's just a thing. There's a lot of people I've talked to at the University of Michigan, they're like, they still don't know how they got in, but they're just really grateful that they did, and so I'm sort of in the same boat. So, and I don't think that there is one guaranteed way to get accepted into the University of Michigan, but I will share, as if I was talking to a friend, what I think will increase your chances. Because applying to college is a very scary thing, and so when you're applying, it's scary because at the same time you're trying to figure out sort of like what major you want. Then you have all these essays, but luckily there's a Common App that'll narrow down like the amount of work you have to do. But it's an extremely stressful time, so I understand the anxiety about like what are my chances. Well, I highly recommend, if you are able to, apply to the University of Michigan, the early action deadline, and I believe that is November 1st every year. When it comes to actual characteristics about yourself, when it comes to your grades, ACT score, I'm just going to preface this segment by saying that I know people who have gotten in with a 24 ACT and people who didn't get in with a 33 on the ACT. So just because you have a high ACT score or a low ACT score does not guarantee that you will or will not be accepted, because I know some people who thought they were guaranteed because they had a really high ACT score, but that unfortunately ended up not getting in. There is a lot more to the application and being accepted. Personally, I guess I'd say when they look at your GPA, they want to see that you're taking your GPA, because if you're taking a bunch of easy classes throughout high school, you get a 4.0, that won't have as much weight as someone who took very challenging classes but got like a 3.8. I feel like they look more for the fact that you're challenging yourself and that you're taking a college preparatory class track to increase your chances, basically. They want to see that you're challenging yourself and based on the classes, like, will this person fit in the University of Michigan? So basically when it comes to the GPA, or the harder classes you take, they'll take that into consideration, because I know people that had 4.0s but never took any honors classes or challenging classes. They had a blow-off senior year schedule. A 4.0 on a schedule like that versus someone who took AP classes, honors classes, or just took a challenging schedule, just challenge themselves, that'll be much more heavy weighted in the application process. So as far as extracurriculars go, I do know that they value leadership because it's like the leaders and the best. So if you demonstrate leadership in a club or an organization or on a sports team, just some form of leadership, you want to make sure you have that, because that just demonstrates that you are a leader, and so they are looking for leaders to join their leaders and the best. Get involved in a lot of things, but make sure that you're not sacrificing your grades as well. So it's like a nice balance. You don't want to be involved in too much and then have your grades go down, but you don't want to have 100% just really good grades and no extracurricular activities. So you want to have like a nice balance, because well-rounded, make a nice little circle. Something I cannot emphasize enough, I feel like this isn't helpful. I feel like I'm just saying generic things that you already know, that everyone already knows, but just being well-rounded, trying to get decent grades, a challenging schedule, demonstrate leadership, get involved in leadership positions. If you have those 4 things and you show that in your essays for the University of Michigan that you are passionate, driven, and ambitious, I think you'll be good. But obviously there are a ton of people that apply to the University of Michigan, and I'm sure that there are people that are deserving that do not get accepted. And so I just want to also say that if you feel that you have all these things and then you still don't get accepted, do not let that discourage you, because if you have those 4 qualities or those 4 attributes, chances are you'll be successful wherever you go. It's a school. It's a really good school, and we all know that, but that doesn't mean that your chances of succeeding are any less because you did not get accepted into that school. So I think that you can be successful wherever you go. It's all about the person, not the school. So that is what I want to emphasize in this video. Now, I do know a question that's going to come up is maybe like, what did you get on the ACT? What was your GPA? What were you involved in? So I guess I'll just talk about personally myself. When I was a sophomore in high school, I knew that I wanted to go into nursing or something in the medical field, like either a physician's assistant, something like that. So I started taking more like science classes. So I challenged myself with chemistry, AP biology, honors biology. My senior year of high school, my school offered a health occupations class, which was a 2-hour block. My senior year, that was very rigorous, and it taught you like hands-on skills about like the medical profession. So I feel like when I applied and they saw that that was my schedule, they're like, oh, this person was willing to dedicate 2 hours a day in her schedule when she could have taken a bunch of fun art classes to the healthcare profession education system. I don't know if that makes sense. So I took classes like that, and I also took like AP Psychology, AP Econ, AP English, AP Push, AP US History, AP Statistics, and AP Biology. So I had 6 APs my entire high school career. I took honors classes when I could, and so I did that. So that's my academic wise. I ended up with a 3.95 cumulative GPA. On the ACT, I scored a 30, and for the summers, like I said, in your free time, you really want to show that you're dedicated to whatever you're planning to pursue. So I knew that I wanted to be a nurse, right, or something in the medical field. So I shadowed my, shadowing, if you don't know the terminology in the medical field, it's basically when you follow a medical professional around and you just witness their job basically and their interaction with patients. So I shadowed my uncle for a summer for maybe like 50 hours the entire summer before my junior year, so before I was applying, and that one was a really beneficial educational experience for me because it helped me like actually see what I could potentially be doing in the future. But 2, it also showed that I was willing to dedicate time in the summer, free time, to learning about and pursuing the field that I'm interested in going into. So that was definitely a beneficial thing. So I did that. I've also volunteered in the hospital in the past, shadowing, like I was a nurse's assistant, so I would like give water to patients, so that definitely showed interest in that. As far as extracurriculars go, so in my entire high school career I was involved in 2 years of student government, 4 years of cross-country, 1 year of track, 1 year of the school newspaper, and then 2 years of National Honor Society. And then my senior year I was on the executive board of my National Honor Society chapter with 600 kids, and I was the public relations manager, so that showed leadership and it showed that I was able to work with a large group of people successfully. I think what definitely helped me though also were my essays, and I consider myself to be a decent writer, so but that didn't mean that I just wrote the essays and submitted them like, oh, I'm so great. No. What you have to do is write the essays. I started in the middle of the summer because I was like really nervous about this, so I wanted to like start as soon as the Common App released the essays, essay prompts. I started working on them, and so I wrote my essays, and this was like a stressful process because I was like, oh my gosh, they need to be perfect. But then in order to get them to the perfect stage, I got people, or asked people, if they could help me edit my essays, and so I had multiple resources, and so I used my resources, and once I thought that they were good, I submitted on October 26th, 2013, I submitted my application to the University of Michigan. Personally, myself, I was actually deferred in December. I still remember it because I was just in my head, I was like, oh my god. But it was December, and we were driving to Florida for a vacation, and I got an email, and I checked, and it's like, we'll let you know in the future. And I really was excited because I was like, oh, it's around Christmas time, it'll be the best Christmas present ever. And so I was deferred, but let me just say that even though I was deferred, even now that I'm at the University of Michigan, I still feel like I am just as able as those who were accepted at the first acceptance wave. So, and then I still remember when I found out, it was so unexpected because I just checked my email, and I had heard that I was going to find out in April. But I checked my email, and it was like the last day of my school finals, my first semester finals of senior year, and I just checked my email, and it was just the University of Michigan one, so I just clicked it, and it's like, congratulations. And it didn't like hit me right away, but it just, I can't even describe. The best way to describe it is I fangirled, but that doesn't really make sense. But I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then I ran outside, ran down the stairs, showed my parents. It was a great day. I was just really happy because I was like, okay, my hard work paid off. Keep in mind though, before that I had like it was like from December to January, so I found out at the end of January. But for that month though, I was like, okay, I might not get into University of Michigan, and I was a little like down about it. But then that's when I developed the mentality like, hey, it actually doesn't really matter. I'm still going to be me wherever I go, so I can make the best of whichever university I get into, because there's a lot of really good universities in Michigan and out of the state. So it's all about the person that's in the university and how you use your resources and make the most of the education that you're able to get. I applied to a ton of schools, and luckily I got into all, so that was just something that I remember saying like, man, at the University of Michigan that's going to break my streak, but luckily I ended up getting accepted and I'm really, really grateful. So I hope this was helpful. I guess a summary: I had a decent ACT score. The average for the nursing school is 28, but I believe the average of University of Michigan is a 30. So I would try to get in upper 20s and higher would be, I think, wonderful. GPAs, for your GPA, like I said, challenging classes that show that you are challenging yourself and that they feel that you would succeed in college because you are challenging yourself. So, and remember that a GPA with harder classes is worth more than a high GPA with extremely easy classes. So remember that. 3 extracurriculars. Make sure you try to get leadership positions in your extracurriculars and get involved in things that are, one, interesting to you, but then also that are just show leadership and maybe demonstrate interest in what you're interested in actually pursuing. The actual application, early deadline, have people edit your essays. Make sure your essays just demonstrate, have personality and voice, that they're not just dry, cookie cutter, like, I'm a great person, let me in. No, make them be like, I'm a great person and this is why. But don't obviously have that sentence in there. Just demonstrate it make them be like, oh, this is a great person, here's why. So essays edited and get those edited by as many people as you can to get a bunch of opinions from other people. And then 5, keep in mind that even if you do not get in, that does not in any way, shape, or form say that you're any less of a person or you're not going to succeed in whatever you're planning and succeeding on. Remember that it is you who will be going to any university you're planning on going to, and it's all about how you use your resources, use the education that you're able to get, and just make the most of what you have. And so you can succeed no matter which school you go to. Just keep in mind that just because maybe you didn't get into the University of Michigan's School of Architecture does not mean you're not going to be an architect. Like, there's not, like, don't get that mindset like, oh, I have to go here to be successful. Do not get in that mindset. I hope this was helpful. I hope I didn't intimidate or scare anyone with my advice. I know it is a lot. It's a stressful time, but I hope that this helped. And like I said, if you could like the video, if it did help, or you think that you feel a little more comfortable about applying to the University of Michigan or any college in general, thumbs up. And if you'd like to subscribe, I'd really appreciate that as well. And I wish you the best of luck. I know that October is crazy college application season, so just breathe, it's all gonna be good. And I will in the comments below, maybe if you have any more questions, like I always say, I want to answer the questions, so just comment and I will respond. So that's it for today, and I hope you have a happy October month.